Okay, welcome everybody to Wall Street Reporter's next super stock, a live stream, April 22nd. This is almost 4 months since we had this combination of these two guests. The stars have aligned. We have Todd Shapiro, CEO, Red Light Holland. Todd, welcome.
Thanks, Jack, for having me back. Great to be here.
And of course, we have Bruce Linton, Chairman of the Advisory Board. Bruce, welcome back.
Good to be back.
Bruce, we got the last time you were here, we had this was one of the most incredible interviews we've had, because the words of wisdom we've had are so applicable to every company. It's incredible stuff. So I have a lot of questions for you today. It's 4 months. It's basically been a full quarter since you were on. So yeah, I kind of want to start off with I think the last time you were on, the stock was, was it 17? It had a massive run right after. But are you satisfied with where the stock is now? Because I think a lot of investors in our audience, they're kind of used to these stocks that go from 20 cents to $2 in 2 months. What's your take on where TRIP is right now in the scheme of things?
Yeah, and it's good. People always remember the one that goes from 20 cents to $20. They also have to remember the ones that go from 20 cents to $0. And so where I'm with these guys is Todd and I don't even know how many. If you asked how many times have Todd and I interacted since we were last on the show, dozens and dozens and dozens. And so where is the stock? What's going on? Kind of the way I picture this is it's like steps, right? You don't go linearly up. What happens is you raise cash. So Todd's done a very good job of raising capital, call it 30-ish million bucks, give or take.
31, we announced yesterday.
Yeah. And what happens is with the cash in, it's the flat part of the step. So what's happening now is people are working. They're spending that capital that was raised so that they can create the next step up, that next sharp jump. And the sharp jump occurs when they've used the capital and they've used the stock to either buy pieces that will make more sense and or invest in research, market development, jurisdiction evolution. So Todd's been working very hard on some Caribbean activities to try and make sure that the evolution of the regulatory framework accelerates. So that's the flat part, right? That's when he's working. And then the stock, if he's been working well, and I think the team is, that's when the stock jumps. And then you should expect to have a little flat part again. And our job as advisors is to make sure that Todd keeps the flat part of the stair as short as possible, because that means all of the people working with him understand what they're working on, what creates value, how they're allocating capital, how they're transacting using the stock, and then it spikes again. And so I think this one has a very good probability of having several short steps followed by nice spikes. And when you have 31 million in the bank, you don't fall all the way down the stairs to zero. And so I think I feel very optimistic about it. I would say that we all understand Red Light Holland operates in a space that until probably 3 years ago would not have been tolerated on any exchange, was misunderstood entirely, and is sort of always pushing the boundary. The good news on that is you're opening new markets. The bad news is you're opening new markets. And so I would say this stock has tremendous opportunity to grow, but it has a lot of work to do. And I'm very happy. Like Todd, we've had calls in the last 2 weeks as early as 7:30 in the morning and as late as 7:30 at night. Right?
It's been a lot of work behind the scenes. I think it's easy for us to say we're supremely confident of everything we're working at. I always go back to what Bruce told me from day one, was don't look at the stock price. The stock price doesn't matter. Volume, if you have the ability to raise capital, that does. And it's unreal after 8 months of being public now, 8-9 months, and getting the guidance from Bruce and watching this happen, is the confidence now, to be honest, that I have, and I think that the entire team has at Red Light Holland, is stronger than ever, because you can be patient. You have $31 million to work with to really grow a business. And exactly like Bruce said, listen, I'm not going to sit here and give you price projections on our stock. I always tell you that, Jack. But what I can tell you, if there's a lull, it's probably because we're working on something pretty significant. We're not just going to sit there with a pile of cash and not do anything with it. So we're really excited about carefully, strategically planning to increase that shareholder value. And it's really great, I'll tell you, to be in this position to grow a business, to be focused on revenue generating companies in the psychedelic sector, which many aren't. And I think we're really carefully planning right now and very confident in how we're doing so.
Right. So I probably should now update the file in Todd's head, because don't look at the stock price, because it's kind of like spending all your time looking at the radio while driving. You need to drive, but you got to drive super goddamn fast. And so like, I don't like the stock price in that if it was twice as valued today, buying things would be half as expensive. So I would like it to be more valuable. I think we're doing things that will make it more valuable. All it does is it sort of boundaries the scope and size of the activities you can undertake, because like if it's 5 times more valuable, you might start saying, well, I don't know, can we take a hostile run on Amazon? But you know what I mean? Like it does matter, but you can't make it go up by looking at it, and you can't make it go up by responding to every email from everybody telling you that you know what you need to do? Actually, you need to not read all those emails, Todd, because you need to do the list of things that you're doing and try to respond to people saying, I'm busy, I'm working hard, please let me work hard.
You're not supposed to give them the finger, right? That doesn't do well, though, right?
Bruce, I want to ask you. Here's, I mean, for people, to get to the bottom line is, what's can Trip be? Can Red Light Holland be a $3 stock, a $5 stock? If so, if you can outline what's the path to get there, because look, you've been in this similar space. You know, like what's the path to get to this? And of course, everybody's gonna ask, how long is it gonna take?
Yeah. Well, there's 2 ways that you can get there. One is 100% for sure. So you just do like a 10-for-1 share consolidation and you just increase your share price by 10. But I'm being a bit facetious, but can we make the value of this company 10 times more than it is now? Yes. Can it do only what it's doing today and not expand its opportunity set and its horizon and do that in a timely fashion? No, because the markets are growing. So what we have are a ton of adjacent segments, which with our credibility, cash, I'll call it competent team, those adjacent segments are ripe pickings. And so I think that if people are looking at it, they should say, let's see, they have a highly liquid currency, they have cash in the bank, they're willing to play pretty edgy. Are there enough adjacent areas to grab and make this a bigger company fast? And I think the answer is yes. Now the question for us really is only which ones in which order. Right, Todd? Like there's an opportunity or 5 every week for an area that's adjacent. And what we always have a discussion about is how would that be viewed? How strategic is it? How close to the edge is it? Those are constant thoughts.
Jack, I've told you before, I always feel like now we're on Shark's Tank, right? Or Dragon's Den, where we're being pitched a million ideas all the time. We're lucky enough to be one of the companies with money to create value and to have potential opportunities in front of us. They're coming to us, and it's really neat to weigh and be careful. But in the meantime, what we're doing best and what we're doing right now is focusing on those revenue generating companies like our purchase of SR Wholesale in the Netherlands. This is a massive distribution company with over 3 million in revs, approximately 3 million in Canadian revs last year. And they have a huge distribution for our truffles because we have a farm for those who are new and still don't really know because we haven't talked about much what we're doing. We're growing 1 million grams. We have a consumer goods product in the psychedelic sector. I think we're the only legally publicly traded company on the planet that actually sells a consumer goods product in the microdose fashion. And instead of going out and hiring multiple salespeople and getting maybe branded minis and investing in that infrastructure, we just bought the distribution company. And we're already seeing, which we announced yesterday, which is incredible strategy on our behalf, is the idea that, hey, we were in 9 stores, smart shops. Now we're in 22 smart shops. It's working. The plan to get our product where our biggest margins are, because we grow them, we don't have to buy them and then sell them just at a wholesale market. It's working to get in new smart shops. focused again on revenue generating businesses and us creating more value by selling more product. So we're really pleased with what we're doing so far. And I think you're going to see that everything we touch on will be in that path, including the Happy Caps announcement that we did announce in a non-binding LOI. Full disclosure, Bruce doesn't love the non-binding LOIs that we announced.
Wow. So two things. One is, anybody who was listening to Todd a year ago, did Todd describe nearly as accurately, eloquently, and as integrated fashion the cash flows, the margin, the vertical integration, the leverage and torque we get on distribution? No. Like Todd's evolution. So part of the reason people should, I think, be optimistic is Todd is a learning machine. I joined with him because he has good energy, and I thought he was very careful about capital allocation. Now, when we have discussions about acquisition opportunities and things like that, he's moved like 100 miles an hour way forward.
That's the part of my job I don't love, Jack. I'm reading more than ever. I'm reading like company circulars that go out, and not even our own, just to sort of study how the process works. It really is a nonstop education process. But one, and thanks to Bruce and others, who, I feel like I'm adapting very well, and it's really quite rewarding, in fact, to see where we're at and see. I always say the opportunity, great opportunity for us. Yeah, and anybody watching this either bought or sold or wondering about it, right? So to me, I think keeping an allocation here, it's not going to be your sole source. Like if you said, well, my entire strategy on retiring early is just Red Light Holland, I might say, well, you might want to like take 10% and buy lotto tickets, right? You might want to like have a second backup strategy, Red Light Holland and 10% towards lotto tickets or something. But I think that where we are as a company is evolution of leadership, cash in bank, bigger targets, thoughtful approach to science, distribution, policy. Like Todd has been pushing the hell out of public policy so that we have markets that would not exist for anybody, but we get them first. And sorry, I got to pat myself on the back here. I don't know if anyone would have thought that Red Light Holland, the recreational magic truffle company, would be the first to ever get a consumer goods product into Brazil through Anvisa, which is Canadians' version of Health Canada, their health regulatory authorities. Or would we be able to get our consumer goods product into a lab into Canada, which we've done through Seacrest Labs and Shaman Pharma, which we've done that through a psilocybin import license. I mean, these are the, I think, monumental steps, world groundbreaking steps that we've done. And we're looking, Bruce and I talk about this, and I think, Jack, we've talked about this too, pins on a map. How do we increase where we can get product to? Because if we can eventually do that and speak to the authorities about maybe getting this stuff legal one day in this careful, educational, responsible way, well, that will hopefully be way more sales for everyone who invests in Red Light Holland.
Speaking of which markets are opening up this year? We have a question from Joseph saying he wants to know about Canada. He wants to try the microdosing. There's a lot of stuff happening. I mean, I think in the U.S. they're going to legalize cannabis on a federal level now. This is Chuck Schumer is the senator. They're going to push it through. What about what's going on with the psychedelics? What do you see, Bruce, happening in the next 12 months?
Well, more and more states, right? So why is Schumer talking about it? It's because you're getting to the stage where a majority of Americans live under a system where the state has said it's okay and the feds have said we don't think so. And if you want to get reelected, what you can't do is disagree with the electorate. And so Schumer's action is simply politics, which says the majority of Americans polled and living actually have access to and expect federal regulation. So that's taken, call it, more than a decade. Right behind it, you now have a bunch of jurisdictions doing the same thing about psychedelics, and I'll call them broadly a variety of other products, which even British Columbia is saying, we would like to not have to file and charge people with this. We'd like to make access maybe a little more regulated and certainly not illegal, not criminal. So I think what's happening is that wave's building. But when you think about the federal initiation in the US, to me, I still think that's going to leave massive market openings for us. And whether or not we participate through partners, like Todd, you'll hit on what we've got on the West Coast. I think you're just going to see more and more ways we can step in, being careful not to step on a bomb.
Yeah, and again, we still are working through this JV with Halo Labs. That's still on the go here, and we're very proud about that. And I think you'll see that we're moving forward. And with Brusso, the old Radio Me came out. I wanted to ask you, because we're seeing decrim happen in places like Colorado and California, obviously in Oregon, in the Writing Measure 109, where you can be prescribed medical psilocybin. It looks like that's the route, especially of the natural occurring substance, which is what we deal with. So when you were in the cannabis days and you started to see these barriers break down, what were the thoughts for you going, okay, well, these markets are going to open up? How did you sort of speak to your shareholders at the time to kind of project timing and your thoughts as to when that might actually happen with the dominoes falling?
So it's actually sad and ridiculous, but every time a rule changes, it's because a bureaucrat or a politician decides to have a fight in the media with the mother of a sick child that would benefit from access to these products. And so far, the mother and the sick child have won 100% of the time. And so politicians, and I don't care if you go UK to access wherever. So the first thing that I look as the trigger is, has there been a definitional benefit put forward by a mother of a sick child that shows access to this would change the quality of life? Because that is the door opening. Then after that, what I don't necessarily love to see is decriminalization, because decriminalization doesn't actually mean regulation. It just means it's not illegal. What I like to see is a regulatory framework so that people know what they're getting is what they say, right? You're very rigorous about what microdose is, how much is in each package. Decriminalization doesn't have an inspector for that. So I like regulation after the fight with the mother of the sick child is lost, so that the market actually has a sheriff.
Jack, I have one more question for Bruce while he's talking. You mind?
Of course.
Okay, so did it frustrate you, though, on the cannabis side of things, when you're working with all the governments and you're watching all these illegal sites and the illicit market still happening? Because what I'm seeing right now is, and it's amazing, because obviously we've stimulated a lot of interest within magic mushrooms, magic truffles, even within my own network, and they're seeing Instagram accounts pop up in Canada where people can go and buy this illegally. Sure. And for me, my reply is, well, that's a positive sign in a way, because it means the governments are allowing this for now. Hopefully they'll regulate it. They'll look at to Red Light Holland, how well we've done this with all the proper legal frameworks in our jurisdictions and dealing with the authorities extremely clearly and transparent. And then they'll knock them down and hopefully elevate us. Was that sort of the path with cannabis? Yeah, and I find it interesting. There's quite a few of the similar actors on the west coast of Canada, for example, that they're placards. I used to joke that some of them, like maybe Jody and Mark, like they could have made their placards out of solid gold because their protesting was so personally valuable. And I find it interesting because a lot of those same actors have shifted to, we're out of the cannabis business now and we're into the shroom business. And so all that tells me is that this is absolutely super fertile, because they're not going there if it isn't. And that it says that the police and the regulators are going to want to have a framework. And the illicit market diminishes. And now listen, I'm not trying to put people in jail, but suppose you actually wanted to get the same thing twice. You wanted to know that it's not treated with anything, that it's not accidentally or intentionally cross-laced, that it doesn't have fecal chloroform because people actually have to wash their hands in your factory rather than go to the can and then play with your mushrooms. All those things disappear under regulation. And I'll use my line from weed, which will apply here, which is regulation gives you the chance to have the difference between shit and good shit, because people's hands are dirty when it's a illicit, unregulated market and there's not testing. And so I think we have the chance just to give people security and certainty, and that there's big demand. And so there's, I'll think of those, Todd, they're just breaking ahead, because the most pure play entrepreneurs on the planet are the ones that do not have to follow any regulation, including law. Like that makes you very entrepreneurial. Could also make you a biker. But we're looking like bikers these days, I think.
Actually, we have counted, was it the Bruce? So Jerry, I thought, who's the guy from, what is it? The Metallica. Last time you looked like the Metallica guy. Now it's somebody else.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to let Todd do the rest of this, but my ongoing pilgrimage is to see how completely unlike my prior version I can look. And the craziest part is my passport expired. So about a month ago, I sent in a picture of me looking like this without the hat or the glasses. And so for the next 10 years, I have a passport photo that says, I've just left jail. Can I come in your country? But to return to seriousness, I would not retain myself as an attached person to Todd or this company if I did not think they were always trying to improve. If I didn't see the willingness to make really big moves, try things on. So part of the way you succeed in doing M&A is you try on, and you say no, yes. And so this is a place which has a super high rate of willingness to try it on. I've introduced a couple of actors that help really analytically try things on. It shouldn't be how I feel. It should be, how does this measure? And so I would say, Todd, now, like, I'm outsourcing my conversations to you through Will, we won't say his last name, to make sure that you're really analytical in your trying on process.
This team has strengthened immensely, and it started off strong in the beginning. So if you think about that combination, it only adds to what we feel will really present great opportunities. And this guy Will that Bruce speaks of is like, he's a whiz kid. I call him Goodwill. I won't say his last name, like as the Goodwill Hunting. His mind is phenomenal, and the strength of any company should be the strength of its team and its advisors, and that's exactly what we have. And I think that as we work towards these opportunities, we'll definitely source out the best ones for everybody involved.
So let's Todd, let's get kind of, I want to go through some of the recent news, kind of get an update.
Bruce wants to jump off here.
Switch me up, because he promised me, Bruce, come for 15 minutes. I got to have my COO come right in and join after you.
You're leaving?
Get at it. Thanks, Bruce.
Okay, Bruce.
Yeah,
we'll see you next. We'll see you in 4 months.
Bruce is jumping on his bike. He's got to go for a nice ride. Okay.
Hey, be good, guys.
Thank you, Bruce.
Bye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Jack.
It's always good to have Bruce. Okay, Todd. So let's get to. We're going to talk about some of the recent news. Open up for audience questions, because I think we got a lot of questions. So the big news is today. Today's news is, you're doubling essentially the sales footprint for the microdose in the Netherlands, right? That's what's going on there.
Listen, we have a strategy, man, and if people aren't looking at the strategy on how you grow business and how you focus on revenues, I actually don't understand why most people do invest in companies if their focus aren't on revenues. And we bought a company. We got an incredible rate for the company too. You can go and check it out what we bought it for. But I mean, that's year after year after year, one of the largest distribution companies in the Netherlands. We have access to hundreds of shops. And now with the idea, like I said a little earlier, we have this product we're making, and we will work on other product offerings. That's a given. This Red Light Holland brand. By the way, we have brand new merch coming out tomorrow. I have so much to announce, but we are definitely looking to get into as many smart shops as possible, into the retail stores. And we're predicting, especially by the summer, we'll be in more. And hopefully with this COVID stuff, more stores will even be open, and there'll be more shops. Hopefully tourism will open up. So we're just playing it delicately, but we're very pleased with our 140% improvement of product into new stores.
Okay, and let's talk about some of the acquisitions you've made, you've announced. So you closed the acquisition of SR Wholesale. That's the wholesale company.
Yeah, so that's the company I just referred to. Almost 3 mil Canadian in revs. You convert that to what they're doing in euro, and really strong relationships. They deal with all sorts of products. We even bought a brand within that too, a brand called Mr. Maca. So we have our whole new brand, a whole new line of truffles that were already previously sold and very popular within consumers. Think of it like a Pepsi or a Coca-Cola buying a Gatorade. So now we got a Gatorade, another product that would just be another additional revenue stream for us. We're going to do a little rebrand on that as well, because we want everything to be a little more modern. And yeah, we're just stoked by the SR acquisition for sure.
Okay, and now you just announced, what is it? The Happy Caps mushrooms, the LOI. What is that all about? Like, how does that fit into the whole picture of Red Light?
Farming mushrooms is an incredible business. Margins in mushrooms are great. So think of it like this. Red Light Farms, about the website, redlightfarms.com. So I have the farm in the Netherlands. We could have a farm in Nova Scotia. Could we have other farms? Who knows? We have farms, great business in farming, great margins. Now you think about what they're doing. They're growing gourmet mushrooms, and they have home grow kits. What I love about these home grow kits is the idea that any Canadian investor watching me right now, or any American investor watching us right now, can go to Amazon or can go to our website, go to happycaps.ca when the deal eventually closes. You can even go buy them now. I don't care. Go support the guys. They're amazing. And you can buy our product and get it into your homes. So now it stimulates a reminder that we're in business, that we're doing things, that we're making money. And then think about this. So when Canada legalized cannabis, what did they do? They made sure that it didn't look overly capitalistic, and they said any individual who is an adult can grow up to 4 plants in their house. So maybe if they ever legalize psilocybin, and we've seen these steps go into play now, where they've allowed it for terminally ill, where they've allowed it for severe trauma, where they're allowing it to train therapists to use it one day for psychotherapy. And maybe if they ever allow legalization, which is obviously the goal here, and we want to work with them to do that, maybe they'll allow for a home grow for you to be able to have it. So the mycelium and the substrates and everything that they work with for these kits and the spawn, maybe one day you could have a home grow psilocybin kit that would give you a little bit amount of mushrooms that a government would allow. Again, there's no guarantees that will happen, but in the meantime, let's make some money and have some fun. And the guys, Andrew and Andrew, who own Happy Caps and work it and run it, and one's an incredible mycologist and one's an incredible marketer and business person. I mean, these are beauties. These guys, I'm going to market the crap out of. We're going to bring them on and have a ton of fun with them because they're so salt of the earth. They're so hardworking. They're everything Canadiana represents. And I love the fact that we're going to be with hardworking guys who want to grow and elevate not only what they're doing at Happy Caps, but Red Light Holland as a whole.
Okay, so basically I can go on Amazon, I can type in Happy Caps and I can buy this mushroom grow kit.
Yeah.
And I'll be doing it now. Okay, and I can get the magic mushrooms.
No, they're not magic mushrooms. So they're just regular mushrooms. It's you would have a wood log. Okay. And it's a plug. You would drill a hole in it, and the spawn in it, you would drill, and it would give you mushrooms repeatedly. So no, for now they're illegal. You cannot work with psilocybin. You can work with these different types of gourmet mushrooms. Mushrooms are really cool, and mushrooms have a lot of functional properties. So just because we're dealing with psilocybin, and we are the #1 psychedelic company and a leader in the sector that actually sells product now, without a doubt the best in the world, we can also sell all of the products that are within the mushroom family. And that's what we like about it, hoping that one day maybe we could then sell a product that was in the psychoactive and psychedelic family.
Got it. Okay, so apparently we have some people who have these kits already.
Yeah, the great kits. I bet. Ask the guy. He probably loves it, man. It's so fun. Do it with your family, your friends. You can show this growth happening. It's really quite awesome.
Okay, so now basically I think there's people who are kind of starting to see that this legalization thing is going to happen. I mean, people are saying in Canada. The idea is, I mean, I think the idea of Red Light is that you want to build what you want to have this global brand established. So when the market does legalize, you'll be able to roll right in and essentially, become like the Red Bull of mushrooms, of psilocybin.
I want more pins in the map, Jack. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to put as many pins in as many areas on a map as possible. And I want to be able to have product there, whether it's psychedelic for now or some contrary products that create the lifestyle. Is our scientist on board? Can I bring her in?
Yeah. We're gonna bring
I don't know how much time we have, but you got to listen to Sarah.
We got a couple. Okay, yeah, we're
give us 15, 20 minutes. This is good stuff. Sarah's a genius.
Hi.
Sarah Haskins is the CEO of Radix Motion. We work so closely with Sarah. Sarah is also like an absolute tech whiz. She went to university in the Netherlands. She dropped out of it. She's a neuroscientist because she hates all the bureaucratic crap that goes involved with it. And I want her to tell you all about the Wisdom Truffle, our digital care program, the IP that we have within the stuff, our telecounseling app. I mean, we're not just a company that's farming and selling product. We're a tech company as well that's connecting with the community and helping people. We can't make the medical claims, but we sure as hell can create a great lifestyle and help them as they give us feedback. Sarah, sorry, that's my old radio intro.
Yeah, thanks. So maybe just 30 seconds of explaining why I'm so excited about psilocybin and the potential of growth first in the Netherlands and then hopefully across the world. And this is based on a paper that I published back in 2017, which by now has become quite mainstream in the neuroscience community. And what we see that psilocybin does to the brain is it increases the possibilities in your brain. I like to give people a visual thing to imagine, to just get an intuitive sensation. Jack, have you ever played in sand, building sandcastles, maybe back when you were a kid?
Yeah.
So imagine that all that sand around you is the sensory information that's coming into your brain. There's just so much of it coming from your eyes, your ears, the sensation of touch. And these buckets that you have are your brain's previous knowledge bases. It's what your brain learned as a kid. And your brain is constantly taking these buckets and trying to actually build sandcastles with all the sand that's constantly coming in. So your perception is actually a creative process. Now, imagine that you've had some sort of childhood trauma or grown up in a situation that wasn't really in your benefit. Your buckets can get in a state that really your reality is not benefiting you. And psilocybin, what psilocybin does is it takes these buckets and it breaks them down. Now your brain has new buckets, different types of buckets that it can start creating a new type of reality for you. But how do we get from that state? In neuroscience, we call this higher entropic state. There's more possibilities in your brain. How do we get from this more possibilities into the states that you want to be in, right? If you want to be more creative, or if you want to be more compassionate, if you want to be more patient, that's really up to you to decide. But we want to help people get from the state of more possibilities into the state that they want to be in. So this is really the amazing thing about Red Light Holland. It's utilizing what is known in the psychedelic community as set and setting. Red Light Holland isn't just giving packs to people and saying, you know, good luck, guys and girls out there. Because honestly, and I'll be very frank, this is what caused so much of the mental health problems across the world, with pharmaceutical companies just doing that. You know, here's a substance. Good luck. Hopefully it helps you, right? That's not how our brains work. We need to have a mindset that cultivates growth, and also a setting that helps us, an environment that supports us. And this is really the large-scale vision of Red Light Holland products. And we're really doing this in 3 stages, like all good things, 3 stages. The first is education. Right? You might be interested in microdosing. Maybe you encounter us in one of the many smart shops in the Netherlands. Maybe you're Googling online, and we're creating interactive education, really fun and very unique, with augmented reality and virtual reality. And you know what's great about this? That's legal all across the world. We can sell it now, not only in the Netherlands, but anywhere. We're already on.
We are selling it on the Steam store.
Yeah, we are. We're on the Steam store. We're getting on the Oculus store, which is the larger store in the VR world. And again, you know, VR is also a very expanding and new type of ecosystem that's growing out there. So that's one thing, education, to create a mindset that explains to people what is happening in their brain and how they can utilize microdosing. Now, the second component is what we said, setting, right? And we're creating a unique microdosing app that offers telecounseling with a specialist in the Netherlands.
Again, created.
Yeah, it's launching next week. I can show you a video if we have time at the end.
We got news here. Next week.
Yeah, we're going into beta next week. I can show you a video if we have time at the end of what that looks like. And we're utilizing 2 really important components. One is biometric data. And this is my specialty also from my research. We're looking at how your body reacts to microdosing. This is something that has never been done before, okay? I left academia, like Todd was saying, because I was frustrated with so few. You know, it's you do experiments on 13 people. And I want to do things with machine learning and AI that can actually help us predict how these substances will affect people and get the most out of it. You know, with this app, we will be the first that are able to do that, because we will have mass adaptation, right, by people in the Netherlands doing this legally, and being able to actually look at what's happening to their bodies and helping them figure out what is their dose. We don't know this yet in science. What is the protocol that is best for them? And it's quite likely to be very different and very individual for each person. And a lot of this has to do with them also noticing what's going on in their bodies. So we're giving them that feedback loop, helping them understand what's happening in them, and then connecting them to a community, okay? Because technology is only worthwhile if it actually helps connect people. And that's, I think, Todd was talking about that last time too. So on the app, We're going to have telecounseling. We're having already events where people come on, and there's group events. And it's so beautiful to see people share their experiences, from one student that's trying to stop using Ritalin and ADHD medication that is causing a lot of harm, to another student just trying to give each other the support structure of how they're using microdosing. So a lot of really amazing things are happening there. And then there's the third part of this whole vision, and that's going into embodied tech. It's going into wellness tech, a really, really huge market segment that's been growing over the last few years, because there's very simple things that we know benefit people, right? Meditation, being aware of what's happening to your body, putting your phone down. Let me ask you, Jack, how many times do you just think your phone is wasting your time and taking you away from what's important in life? Like, be honest.
All day.
All day. Yeah, right? So we're building this wisdom truffle that's a mascot that's being designed by Kareem Rashid.
The Kareem Rashid.
Exactly.
Okay.
The Kareem Rashid mascot. But it's not just going to be a dust collector of a cool art. That's great. It'll be a cool art collector's item, I'm sure, with Kareem's background and his massive support. But it's also functional. Okay, this is going to give people a meditation aid, biofeedback that they can sit down, take a few minutes a day, and actually it shows them the heartbeat and very trippy and fun lights. And they cannot just do this by themselves. I could do this with you right now. We could do this over a distance, hold something, and actually connect our heartbeats. Okay, this is the next stage of actual social, right? Forget texting, send me your heartbeat. Show me that you actually care about me. These are things that we can do with technology that are very psychedelic in nature because they do offer this deeper connection. The second product of the Wisdom Truffle is a larger lamp-sized device that will both charge your phone, but also help you let go of your phone. And they really work well together. Let go of your phone, go outside, sit down, take a few breaths, get feedback, and it all ties back in to the microdosing app. If you are part of our clients in the Netherlands, great, we now have more biometric data about you to see how microdosing actually affects your heart rate. Can we see the lowering of anxiety through your biometric data? But if you're not in the Netherlands, you can still use this. You can still get all the benefits of meditation, of a healthier relationship with your phone, and hopefully wait for us to get to wherever you are, because I'm absolutely sure that's the future.
So it's very interesting. The set and set. So this, Todd, I mean, you never talked about this. I'm glad you have Sarah on, because naturally this is going, you're doing like a complete, I don't know if the word is ecosystem, but you're doing a whole thing, which it's not just the agricultural product, but you're doing like a whole turnkey solution for essentially it's a turnkey mental wellness solution.
Yeah, Jack, earlier we talked about team.
With the high tech.
Total high tech. So earlier when we talked about team with Bruce Linton, we talked about the strengths of a team. And the reason why I didn't talk about this is because, quite frankly, I'm not like a science nerd. No.
I am. I'm very proud of you.
She is so brilliant. I mean, this is why I want to show who our team is within Red Light Holland, because we have the strongest of the strong. I mean, her paper, as humble as she is, it's quoted by Robin Carhart Harris. I mean, and he's the guy that's like known in the psychedelic community. And Sarah's worked for some of the big tech companies. She might not even go into that. I don't know which ones, but everyone she knows has been with either Google or Facebook and all this kind of stuff. So we have Sarah here to show the market exactly the types of things, not just concepts, not a deck, what we're doing. We're working on it. I mean, I just spent the last couple of days with Sarah working with our what do they call them? The tech engineers? What are they called? What are their titles?
We have an electrical engineer and a mechanical engineer. Everyone's really an expert in their field that we're working with. And it's so amazing for me, as somebody that came from academia with all these ideas, to find a partnership in Todd and in the rest of the Red Light Holland team that can see the larger vision. So not just about, like you said, it's not just a package of some agricultural material that honestly isn't so hard to grow, right? The things that we're creating, the IP around this is very, very unique. And I don't see any other company even close to doing anything like Red Light Holland is doing.
And I say that heartfeltly. That I didn't mean it. I don't want to insult. I'm just envious of your brain. I honestly am, and I'm so blessed to have you as part of our team. And I can't wait for people to see what we're doing with the Wisdom Truffle. I mean, we're speaking to factories right now. We're getting all the hardware involved. And
I have a short video if you want to go through a few clips if we have time.
Do you have a minute or no?
Yeah. We're about 10 minutes. So yeah, we'll do this, and now we got to talk about this. The volcano,
Oof,
and then we'll wrap up.
I didn't even tell you how I got out of St. Yeah. Anyway.
Let's Sarah, if you can do a screen share.
Okay, let's attempt to do this. Screen is easiest with 2 monitors. I don't have 2 monitors, but let's see what happens.
Or share wherever you have it.
Great. Here we go. We're going to see a second of Infinite Me. Do you see a thing that says learn?
There we go. Okay.
So this is part of our educational app where you can actually hold the actual psilocybin molecule in your hand. Really breakthrough science education. And it's fun, and you get to dance with the Wisdom Truffle and learn about microdosing. This is the iMicrodose app that I was talking about. You can actually see analytics about your goals and how you're accomplishing them, zoom in and out, check in with your counselor online. It's really a whole wellness platform. And again, the biometric data where we collect your pose and how you move. And this is a little mock-up of the Wisdom Truffle and how it will glow with your heart rate, and you'll be able to send these glowing communications to your friends, family. Yep.
All right. Well, okay. We gotta get an update on this the tech side of a red light at at some point. Okay. This is great stuff, Sarah. Okay, so I want kind of basically talk. I want to kind of get before we go. Quick update. St. Vincent. What's going on there?
Yeah. So first and foremost, really beyond any of this, there is a natural disaster in St. Vincent. The volcano erupted many different times. I was down there when it erupted. I was on a neighboring island at the time, okay? So I was doing a lot of sort of exploring within St. Vincent to figure out infrastructure to see if we get this deal done with Mirror Life Sciences, where's the best place for us to set up shop, where's a place that maybe potentially might work for a retreat even. You know, there's a lot of beautiful islands around there. So really looking around what they're doing with the psychedelic licenses that they've issued. And while I was down there, I was actually told by government authorities and by the folks over at Mira that you might want to stay over a little bit because this could erupt and it could be a potentially very dangerous situation. And so when it erupted, it was, you put things in perspective in this world. People freak out when their stock goes down 7 or 8%. I mean, these are people who don't have a lot to begin with, some of them, and they lost everything. I mean, the ash fall would be, if you think of snowfall that comes down in the harshest of winters, 2-3 feet in some areas. I mean, this was really terrible stuff. And so I really want to say that our hearts go out to the Vincentians. This is a beautiful culture of people. They're absolutely just joyful, hardworking, and it's already tough to work right now because of the lack of tourism within St. Vincent because of COVID. And these are educated, fun people, good people. So we want to do our best to help them, and I'll get to that in a moment. I escaped through, I actually had to get on a 6.5 hour ferry ride to Grenada, got out through Grenada into Florida, and then Florida eventually back home here into Canada. That just happened over the last week. In terms of what we're working on with Mira, selfishly, and it sounds selfish because there's a tragedy going on right now. The talks are still ongoing. I would say no red flags. I said that last time I was on. The amount of meetings I've had with the government since the eruptions of the volcano have been staggering, meaning I don't even know how they have the time to do so. I mean, direct line to the PM over there too, by the way, and a few of the ministers and the head of SVG. So a lot of talks are going on. But one of the things we're doing right now, and I had to do this because I got to meet these individuals that hopefully one day, if all goes according to plan, we could employ maybe even and help invest into that community. So we're starting a charity. It was actually supposed to launch today. I have to be completely frank with you. I need to know where every single dollar of that charity goes to. So until I knew that, I couldn't launch this. I'm not saying I'm a skeptic of all charities. I'm just saying that if I'm putting our name to a charity, Red Light Hollands, and we're going to donate the first X amount to it to help out, I need to make sure that anyone who donates, we know where that money's going. And it looks like we've sorted all that out where I can really reconcile that process. It should launch tomorrow morning. svgstrong.org will be the website, and we just want to help give back to that community. The other psychedelic companies, there's one or two within St. Vincent as well. They're going to do a smaller part. We've, quite frankly, we're way more robust than any of those companies right now, and we just want to help out. So the talks are still going well. The idea is still to get the psychedelic license and close out the, hopefully, this Mirror Life Sciences deal. No guarantees, but hopefully learn what's going on with the economy. That's a big part of the strategy. My board has reminded me about that to make sure that there are places to set up, and we'll see what happens. But if we do, there's a lot of opportunity within that region of the world in the Caribbean, working with psychedelics for R&D stuff that Sarah would love, working with more than just psilocybin, potentially things like peyote, ayahuasca, you name it, a lot of natural occurring products. And it's really neat to see everything kind of happen. Of course, the volcano then erupted. So we just want to concentrate on the efforts of helping, and then we'll kind of get back to business as it goes along though as well.
But I tell you, it's interesting that Red Light, TRUFF has got, there's actually multiple, growth initiatives. There's a lot of things sort of built into the company, which could have, massive impact. I mean, just today, we didn't even know about the tech side of this, which, is, it could be, that alone could be, a game changer.
Jack, I'm just going to say this, okay? I think it's irresponsible for a CEO to ever jump on anybody's program and ever tell the people listening where their stock is going to be and what market cap they're going to have. I think that's very irresponsible. And if any CEO does that, I'm not so sure. What I can tell you is look to the work that's being done. And we are delivering every single week. We have an amazing team. We have a tight burn. I mean, I announced $31 million. I was allowed to do that because legal approved it yesterday in a press release. And I think 2 or 3 weeks before that, I said 30 million. It went up in value. How does that, while we're using some money to develop all that stuff, how does that happen? Well, we've made smart investments as well. We've done a lot of incredible things that have really helped increase the shareholder value. That I'm always confident in saying, and I love this vision. I love the direction. And most importantly, and I know Bruce said it earlier, he likes to kind of move fast, and don't get me wrong, so do I, but I also like to demonstrate what we're doing now. And we're doing tremendous amounts of stuff, including growing, packaging, selling, distributing to other countries through psilocybin import licenses and regulatory approval bodies, building out all this tech, creating a community, which is so important in the psychedelic world. And don't even get me started how much Sarah reminds me of that we can't forget about the community of people who will not only use our product, but most likely invest in the company, because it's a movement. It's a movement to make a difference and hopefully be able to be a part of positive change. We can't make the medical claims. There's a mental health crisis going on right now. And we want to be a company that is not only sustainable, not only compassionate, not only hopefully making a shit ton of money, because that's the goal, but also always thinking about the overall picture under this big umbrella of mental health and wellness. And hopefully we can be able to prove that out, especially through some of the work that Sarah's doing.
Excellent. Todd, on that note, I want to thank you. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us. Again, thank you for bringing on Bruce. And we're going to catch up with you on the next big news announcement.
Thanks, Jack. We love being here. Sarah, thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.